Hi guys, welcome back. Alright, we are going to do a little demo today. Got some emails from a few people. One in particular, Frank Jenkins, said he was kind of having some issues with how to route tough letters like O's, and that's probably the toughest letter because there's no flats, no straight edges to take a break. It basically is a constant curved line. So I'm going to show you guys what I do to practice specifically on hard letters, O's, S's, and maybe some E's. There's a specific way I do the E's as well. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to get right into it. So this, you guys saw this a couple weeks ago. We started promoting this, and it works really good. I'm really happy with it so far. Now, the only thing that I would suggest that I had to, that I talked about maybe doing that I hadn't done yet, but it's like the middle of June, early June here in the Arizona desert, so it's up around 100 degrees. So I do keep this stuff in the fridge, keep it nice and cool, just and now it's actually been sitting out for a few minutes, so it'll come out a little bit harder. But that seems to help with the really fast spray and coming out. So keep this, if you're in a really hot temperature base, keep this in the fridge. It'll work well for you. So I'm just going to, I've got some O's here that I've set out. I'm just going to spray them real quick, and I'll show you again. We have other videos that kind of show how I lay out signs, but this will be kind of to you guys that have been around and watched a lot of our videos. You can see I just nice short spurts. If I kept it on there, as hard as that's coming out, if I kept it on there, it probably would cause those things to fly. But anyway, so there's how I lay that out.
Okay, now that's black. Does that paint come in color?
Actually, it does, and that's a good question, Dad. We've had people say, well, what about colors in this stuff? But see, this is a primer. And to be very honest, I haven't checked that out yet. I have not got the colored version of this to see if how that reacts to the wood. So that's something that I plan to do within the next few weeks. So I can't say one way or the other. It might work just fine, but you might have issues with it. All I know is this primer works good for the layout, and it works good for the background and spraying inset letters. The colored stuff, I don't know yet. So if any of you guys out there that are watching this, if you have any feedback on that, hey, let me know. But one way or the other, I'm going to try it and make sure, and then I'll let you guys know what I come up with. So anyway, we'll get that out of the way. And I think what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to set this aside, let it dry for a minute or two. I'm going to show you guys another little thing that I used to do when I was up in Oatman, when I was carving on site. And you guys know that that I have mentioned many times in the past. Well, those of you that are brand new to the channel, you don't, but you can go back and see a lot of our videos. And I've mentioned in the past, when you're carving on site, you want to keep that router running as much as you can. Try and keep that router running. It causes curiosity. People hear that noise and they want to see what's going on. So if you have somebody separate from you that can answer questions for potential customers, great, even better. Then you can keep the router running. If you've got orders to do, great. If you've got sign displays to do, great. This is something that I used to do just to kind of play around to keep my hand at it. But keep that router running when you're carving on site. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to draw a couple lines down this board. I'm just kind of winging it there. And then what I would do is, you can do this with either our 60-degree bit. I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Dad. I'll try and hold an angle. Or those of you that are brand new to the channel, can you zoom in on that bit?
Yeah.
Okay. That is the 60-degree V-groove that we use for all the inset letters, unless they're really huge inset letters. But what I'm doing here, you can either use the 60-degree or you can use the profile bit, which I'll be using here in a little bit. This particular one, I'm just doing it with a 60-degree. Got that, Dad?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll move on. So what we've got is I've set it just barely, and once I start cutting here, you'll see what I mean. But all I'm going to do is just kind of do some routing of some letters to just kind of keep my hand going, and it helps keep me sharp and it's kind of fun. So you guys know I've mentioned many times that I just love to run the router and do whatever I can to keep the router running. So I'll just shut up here and do some stuff and see if it comes out.
You just doing those freehand. You didn't lay those out.
I did not lay those out, no.
What size are they?
I don't know, I just drew lines. I think they're about 1/4 inch. I don't know, I'll measure as soon as I'm done here. You can see that this is pretty much like our regular Clarendon style. Hang on just a second. I didn't put my magnifiers on. That's why I can't see it so well. Let me put my cheaters on. Woo, that's better. This also helps me keep in practice on my ABCs. Get all that down?
Well, we got it. There's nothing really that you can see until you hold that up so I can zoom in on it. So you can show what you did. Okay. Hold on now. All right.
I can turn it over if you'd like, so they're not upside down. But
Well, go ahead and turn it over.
so you couldn't get in there close while I was routing?
No. Could
Okay.
not see what you were doing when you were actually routing. It was just, there was no way to get in there on it now with this camera.
Okay.
But I'm taking, I've zoomed all the way in now and I'm showing all the letters. Okay.
Okay, so I don't know what size those letters are. Let's get the tape measure out. Yeah, they're about 1/4 inch. I don't know, can you see that?
Yeah, so about 1/4 inch letter.
Yeah, they're about 1/4 inch tall.
Let me zoom back in on that. Okay, I got that. That looks good.
Okay. Anyway, guys.
Still can't see the detail on the letters the way you've got it there, but we showed that before. So
Okay.
you want to show those magnifiers you were wearing?
Yeah. These are, you guys have seen me talk about these before. Just got them at Harbor Freight. I don't know, they're 10 or 15 bucks. So they work out pretty well. I can see pretty good with just my cheater glasses, but these really allow me to see the detail. In fact, I can even look at these letters that I just carved, and I think I put these on at about the F, and the rest of them look a little bit better than the early ones. So anyway, that's just something that I do. Now the other thing that I would use these for is in extreme circumstances when I was up in Oatman, there would be people that would want like the little dog bone or the little tiny signs that they wanted extra lettering on, or I don't know, maybe they bought a Live to Ride sign, and then on the end of the ribbons they'd want their names or something. This is the way I would do it, because the smallest layout letters I got are 3/4 of an inch. And you guys probably haven't even seen those, because we just sell the 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch. 3/4 inch are pretty tough to carve. But anyway, I would do this kind of thing when somebody had something that they wanted just some little tiny letters on. Those are the kind of letters that I would do. But anyway,
How deep did you go on those?
I don't know. I just went as wide on the 60-degree as I could and not lose the detail. I would think, I don't have our little
Probably 50,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not 1/8 of an inch. It's
No.
probably not even a 60. It's more like a 32nd, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a 32nd. It's just this kind of thing is where you'd have to really have, and again, you can adjust that and make those a 1/2 inch tall. Then you can go deeper, because you don't have to be quite as detailed on that. Anyway, that was just kind of an extra, oh by the way thing. All right, so let's get into carving some of these O's. Shoot, I didn't bring my brush. Wipe them off on my pants. Get my magnifiers back on. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that same bit, and I'm going to set it a little bit deeper, obviously. And I'm going to show you kind of what I do to try and keep control. Now I'm just kind of winging this. I'm going to have to set a different depth for each size. Now can you see those, Dad?
Yes.
Okay, so these are 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2. A couple of each. So I'm going to start at the 1 inch. And what I'm going to do, oh man, I didn't draw lines. Can you hand me that yardstick, Dad? I like to always draw lines top and bottom on these letters after I do the layout. Kind of getting ahead of myself here. So let me... That helps us kind of keep a reference of all the lines up and down, or end to end. Okay, so let's start cutting some of these letters here. Try and get that cord out of the way. I don't know if I'm deep enough or not. Yeah, that is actually about the right depth.
Now this is what you do just to practice.
Yeah, so now you can see that I've got, if you can get over here on my hand, Dad, this is a short board. If this was a long board, both my hands would be in contact with the base and the board at the same time. Not just my arms with the table, but my hands with the board. I'm going to actually set that a little bit deeper. Go around that again. Those aren't perfect, but they're not too bad. So what I can do is I can actually go around them again. If I miss something or I want to just kind of trim it up, I can go around those center pieces again. Just keep that router moving. Don't let it stop. Now I'm going to go a little bit deeper. That might be about right. But notice, again, I've got my hands on the board. And Dad taught me this years ago, guys. You're not really trying to fight this thing, you're just guiding it. The router will do the work. All you've got to do is just guide it to where you want to go. And that's what I think of when I'm... Now, I want deeper yet. You'll notice I went around 2 or 3 times and just taking a little bit at a time.
Why do you change direction like that?
I don't know. Just feels right. No specific reason. It just feels right to do it that way. Now this material that I'm cutting here, guys, if you're new to the channel, this is that cedar fencing that I use. I smoothed off one side, and if you look at the edge, you can see that it's got a high spot in the center. It's got kind of a cup to it, so I always want to go with a crown on the front, on the face. You get that, Dad? All right. I'm just kind of winging as I'm going here, guys.
So by practicing with these letters, you learn to keep your router moving and you're changing directions constantly.
Well said, Dad. I can see I left a little bit on that edge over there. So I'm going to go back and see if I can get that a little bit better. That's better. A little bit there too. I'm going to touch that up just a little bit. So you can stop, but make sure you pull away from the edge so that you don't show a little line there where you stop.
And again, I want to hold that up so I can get them, hold it up so they can actually see the.
So the main thing is, guys, keep control of the router. And the best way you can keep control of the router is to have contact with not only the router, but the board at the same time, using your hands. You can use your fingers, whatever feels comfortable to you. But for me, I have my arms on the table, but I have my hands on the board. Now, when I get down to this end, obviously I've only got one hand on the board, but then if I've got a longer board, I can have both my hands on the board at the same time. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift gears here. I'm going to switch over to the profile bit, and I'll do some outset letters. Give you guys an idea of how that's done as well. And this, I've kind of covered this stuff before, but maybe not quite in as much detail as what I'm doing here. So again, Frank, thank you for the questions and the feedback, and it gave us, I think this is hopefully going to be valuable for you guys. You can see how I go about doing this. I'm just eyeballing this depth, and again, you guys that know...
Now you switched over to the profile bit, right?
I did, yeah. I switched over the profile bit, so I'll hold it there so you can... I don't know, is that a pretty good angle where you can get in on it?
Okay.
All right, so now I'm going to do some outset letters. This is a little bit different. But the same rules pretty much apply. Just keep that router moving and contact with the board. That's not deep enough for the big one. Oh, I didn't draw my line. I'll be safe. I'll turn the router off.
And the reason for the lines?
The reason for the lines is that when you come around, because the letters will sometimes get caked up with paint or ink, and sometimes they won't be the original size. They'll be kind of a bigger version, so that when you come around, it's not so critical on round stuff like this, but if you're doing E's or something with a flat top and a flat bottom, when you come around, if you don't have the letters exactly in the right spot, you can come to reference that line, so that when the sign is all carved, you can look down and they'll all be pretty much in line, parallel to each other. I guess that's the word I'm using. Whether it's correct or not, I don't know. All right, here we go. I'm going to get rid of this piece of paper. It's starting to slide on me. That pad shouldn't be sliding on that table. I think it was just because of the paper. Sorry about that. I probably screwed you up there, Dad.
No, not at all.
That feels more solid. Real close, guys, you'll see why I say if you've got a board that's got that cup in it to have the crown, because the router base will follow that contour. If you were the opposite way and this was high and that was high, the router base would be catching on that while you're trying to route in here. And I've talked about that before, but in case you're new to the channel and you hadn't seen me explain that before, that's the reason.
Did you turn the router just a little bit to have the opening, opening on the back? Wasn't so much the cord, but you had it turned so that it wasn't fully visible.
That better?
No, that's exactly how you had it. The other way. There you go. Yeah.
That way?
That way. That better?
It's better. Okay. As you can see, guys, most of the time I'll try and, if I'm going to err one way or the other on the line, I'm going to err away from the letter on Outset Letters so that I can always come back and trim it a little bit. At least it always doesn't work that way, but that's my intention. Alright. Now the 1-inch letter. And now I got to back it off even a little bit more. Alright, can you see that, John?
No.
Yeah. Actually a little too deep for that S. I'm going to back that up just a little bit. All right. So now you guys have go reference in the description on this video, guys. I will reference back. I didn't look it up right now. I'll reference back doing the outset, the cloud around these letters, so that you guys can see what the cloud looks like. Dad did one not too long ago. I've done one not too long ago. But I'll put that in the description of this. I'm not gonna. I didn't bring out my my other bigger router in order to do the background. But on these 1-inch letters, you might want to go around them again. Just give you a little buffer zone. Again, I'll reference other videos in the description on this. So, gosh, I think that is about it. What am I forgetting, Dad? Did everything come out all right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Good.
it's pretty much what we wanted to show, that by practicing with these letters, where you're constantly changing directions, then you get, if you get good at these, you can do them all.
Yeah, the other ones are a piece of cake if you can get good at these.
Because I used to teach on my videos that to lay out a board with 25 or 30 or 40 of these, and just sit down for an hour or two and practice on these letters. Once you get where you can do these, you can do them all.
Yep, that's absolutely true. So that's the way I learned, and that.
Oh, you did? Somebody
was,
taught you?
Somebody taught me. You don't know him. But anyway, yeah, that's the best way to do it, guys. Practice before you start and carving on customer signs, and that will give you a lot more confidence. It'll make you feel a lot better about working on a customer sign. So anyway, subscribe to our channel if you haven't. We appreciate it. Go to makeawwoodsign.com. Again, the link will be of our websites will be in the description on this video. Check out our premium membership. That's going really well. Thank you guys for your premium memberships, free router bit sharpening, that kind of thing. You can go check it out.
How many subscribers do we have now?
We've got, we just hit 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Just hit 1 million views just the other day. So thank you guys, and we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up.